Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for another week of story time. I'm Mr. Garrett, and we're going to get started with our weather forecast. So you can get your weather felt board ready and we'll do the weather together. So as always, it's daytime, so we're going to need our sun up in the sky. But the forecast for Thursday morning this week is supposed to be kind of cloudy. So we're going to cover up the sun, the sky, with the clouds, and it might even rain a little bit. So get your raindrops ready. Put those falling down. It's supposed to, I think, start to rain around 11 o'clock, so look outside the window and see if it's raining yet. Because it'll be a little bit later in the afternoon when it starts to rain. And last week we had a big development with our tree, at least the tree near my house. I don't know about yours. The buds on the branches started to come out. So I checked this week and they're even bigger. So we have even bigger leaves. So the buds are growing. So next week I'll probably have even more. So I'm gonna put these leaves here, kind of behind there, because they're not really covering the branches just yet. But I think pretty soon we're not even gonna be able to see the branches anymore because the leaves will be have grown so big. So look outside the window and see if our weather forecast came true, and check the trees in your neighborhood and see how many leaves are there. And that's our weather forecast. So now we're going to do our story. Alright, so the story for this week is called 10 Animals in Antarctica, a counting book by Moira Court. So Antarctica, have you heard of that place before? It's one of the 7 continents, and it's actually the South Pole. So you've heard of the North Pole. The South Pole is on the other side of the planet. And it's also very cold there. We have a very famous animal that lives in Antarctica. Penguin, yeah. I think this is an emperor penguin. We have 10 animals in this book. Can you see any other animals on the cover here? Right down here, yeah. A little sea star. So it's a sea creature. So I have a feeling we're probably going to see a few more sea creatures in this book. Let's take a look. Special thank you to Charlesbridge Publishers for letting us read the book today. Ooh, we have a little bit of a clue here. We have some kind of bird. I'm not sure what kind of bird that is. We'll have to find out. And this is Antarctica. Antarctica is the coldest, windiest, driest continent in the world. You don't often get to see a map of Antarctica, but this is what it looks like. So you've probably seen North America, Africa, Australia on a map, but you don't often get to see Antarctica. It's very cold, it's covered in ice, very white. In Antarctica, there are icy deserts, mountain ranges, and volcanoes, some buried deep under the ice. Do you think any volcanoes are here? I don't know, it's hard to tell with all the ice. Antarctica is home to some amazing and unique animals. How many can you count? So we already have the penguin, and we saw the sea star. Let's see what else we have. Ooh, look at that. One freckled, speckled leopard seal, sailing on an icy blue berg. The top of an iceberg. Speckled and freckled. So you'll notice we'll have a lot of rhyming words in this book. So you're just kind of on top of an iceberg. And what do we have in the back here? Those look like pieces of ice, too. So keep that in mind for our activity later. Thinking about pieces of ice floating in the water. Yeah, our penguins. 2 courtly, portly emperor penguins waddling across the polar plains. Ooh, this book also has some really good alliteration. Polar plains. 2 words that start with the same letter. P. So they're just kind of waddling like this. They're portly. 3 cumbersome southern elephant seals lining the sandy shore. Ooh, lumbersome and cumbersome. They're kind of heavy and clumsy, have a lot to carry around, a lot of blubber. Why do you think they're called elephant seals? Take a look at this face right there. Yeah, it has kind of like a trunk, almost like an elephant. They're just kind of sleeping. 4 slow-paced, big-faced southern right whales, wallowing in rippling reflections. Ooh, rippling reflections. It's 2 words that start with R. It's a right whale. You've probably heard of other kinds of whales, like humpback whales, blue whales. Any other whales you can think of? Ooh, gray whales, maybe? Yeah. So these are right whales. I'm just kind of doing little flips. 5 speedy, beady-eyed snow petrels, somersaulting by craggy cliffs. Craggy cliffs, so like rocky, kind of, a lot of little like holes in the cliffs. So far we've been looking at sea creatures. We forgot about the birds. There are birds flying around too. They're doing somersaults, kind of doing little flips in the air. Ooh, who are these guys? Orcas, yeah! 6 cheeky, sneaky orcas surveying the frosty floes. Ooh, they're surveying, so they're kind of looking around and kind of figuring it out. And you see, all around them, we have ice. Looks like we have a hole in the ice almost. Under there is all the water, and they're kind of just like peeking out, looking around. Ooh, 7 inky, slinky, Antarctic flying. What's that? Squid, yeah. Jetting around their watery world. Ooh, they're jetting around. They're kind of going really fast, almost like a jet. It's cool. And watery world, so 2 words that start with W. 8 shrimpish, pinkish, Antarctic krill. Yeah, krill. They're really tiny little animals. A lot of whales actually eat krill, so which is kind of interesting because whales are so huge, but they often eat very, very tiny things. Drifting with the turning tide. Ooh, the turning tide. So you ever go to the beach and you notice high tide and low tide? Sometimes you can see a lot of sand and sometimes you can't because the water is higher. The tides. Do you know what causes the tides? It's actually something really unexpected. It's the moon. The moon's gravity makes the tides, which is kind of cool. Ooh, 9 nippy, slippy, blackfin icefish. That's a good name for a fish near Antarctica. Very cold. Haunting the dusky depths. Ooh. They look kind of like they're haunting. They look kind of like ghosts. They're kind of creepy. Well, 10 crimson vermilion sea stars creeping about on twinkle toes. Ooh, crimson, that's a type of red. And they're just kind of walking around. I learned sea stars actually have 2 stomachs. They must be very hungry. 1 to 10. This wonderful group of quirky creatures thrives at the very bottom of the world in the harshest weather. Ooh. So if we did our weather window in Antarctica, we'd have no trees. Yeah, not too much green stuff here. But the winter and spring are a little different in Antarctica, so keep that in mind when we do our activity. The end. And at the end, we have information about the South Pole and all the animals that we saw. So if you want to learn more facts about the animals, you can kind of look on here. The end. We have our 2 penguins. Nice. Alright, so if you have your craft packet, you can take that out now. If you don't have this, you can get a piece of paper and some crayons ready. And we're going to do a little activity all about Antarctica. So the craft this week is all about Antarctica. So you notice in your packet, there's a little map of Antarctica. So the dark shape right here is what we saw in the book. It's the shape of the land. But all around here, all this white, what do you think this is? If the blue is the ocean, what do you think this could be? It's ice. Yeah, so during the winter, it's so cold down there that the sea, the ocean all around the land becomes ice all the way out here. So it's almost like gets even bigger. It's almost like it's more land because the animals can kind of walk on top, like penguins and things like that. So and then in the spring it starts to melt, and that's where we get the icebergs and everything. So I figured we can make a picture. So you can open up your blue paper, and we have some white paper here, and we can make a little scene and think about some of the animals that we saw in the story. So I'm gonna start I'm just gonna cut a little, it's like a big piece of ice like that. Kind of just have that over here. You can do whatever shapes you want. Then I'm gonna cut out a bunch of other smaller ones like this. And kind of pretend that these are icebergs. So you can cut or you can rip them. Do whatever you would like to do. Just make a bunch of icebergs. Cool. Alright, now I'm gonna glue this down. First I'm going to do the big part, because I think that's going to be the part where I want to put my penguins. Here we go. I'll put some here, because penguins actually walk a very far way on top of the ice to meet up with each other and to have their babies. Then they walk back to the ocean to go fishing. So they have to travel a very far way. I'm just gonna glue all these icebergs down, and then we can add our little animals too. There you go. So this is my water. These are all the pieces of ice that are floating. And now we have to add our animals. So first, I'm gonna make my little penguin over here. He's kind of coming out of the ocean, and sometimes we see penguins standing up and walking, but when they're traveling a far distance, sometimes they just kind of walk around on their bellies, which is kind of silly, but it makes sense. It's almost like they're a little, using a little ice slide, just kind of going around their bellies. And what else could we have in the ocean here? Remember the krill, the little tiny little things? So I'm gonna draw a few of those guys down here. I'm gonna make a bunch of them. Let's see. And ooh, we saw something laying on top of the ice, right? Yeah, we saw the speckled seal. So I'm gonna make a little seal, kind of taking a little nap on top right here. Just add little speckles on top right like that. So he's sleeping. And what else? What could be in the water? I'm gonna make an orca, I think. You can add whatever you want to yours. Keep thinking of ideas. So think back to some of the animals that you saw in the book. I'm gonna put the orca kind of down here. That. Let's see, do I have a white crayon anywhere? Let's see. Whoop. I think I have one. Yeah, there we go. This is the orca. We usually travel in groups, so I'll put another one over here. Go. Let's see. And maybe I'll make the sea star too. See the sea star kind of over here. And any other things? Ooh, yeah, maybe I'll put the other kind of whale. Remember the right whale? So maybe the right whale is kind of coming over here to eat some of the krill. Go. Nice. So you just kind of keep adding little details to your picture, kind of create a little nature picture, and then just keep adding details. So I hope you enjoyed the activity. So next week we'll be back at the same time, 10:30 on Thursday on our YouTube channel. I'll have a new book, so you can stop by the library to pick up a new little materials packet for the craft next week, and we'll have a new story. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Hopefully we have some nice weather, you can get some fresh air, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care, everyone.